Session 2 of Day 2 of the Australian Open for 2023 right here at the Broadbeach Bowls Club. Val Furbo here with you for this clash between Western Australian James Groves and Queensland's Paul Mansell. Very much looking forward to this men's singles action. They both played their first round this morning and are nice and fresh for round 2. Joining me is the one and only Kyle Langley, the voice, well, the best voice I think that's ever been on Rinkside Live.
I'm glad there's only one and only of me, because if there was a second one, they'd be in trouble. I wouldn't want to live this life. Here we are again, Groves, Mansell, great matchup. And even on this screen, we can say now we've got a couple of standout games around us, and we'll keep you updated. Omar, Aaron Sheriff's on, Scott de Jong, Jake Rinn. But this matchup here, we've got James from Joondalup and Paul from Beenleigh up here in Queensland.
Certainly, in first rounds this morning between for this pair, we'll have a quick look at the table here. Both of them fell victim. So James Groves falling to Gary King 21-16, and Conor Maguire overcoming Paul Mansell 21-7. So that's where it sits at the moment. Third and fourth, both of them looking to put themselves in a good position to possibly qualify for the knockout rounds. Of course, the 2023 Australian Open brought to you by Apia. We're proud to support the event, volunteers and officials. And look at them all looking very good in their polos. Apia donned at the back.
Yeah, one of the volunteers said to me this morning, best volunteer shirts ever. And they are. And look, the volunteers here this week have been great. 2 days in, and they're just doing a magnificent job.
Yep. The volunteer shirts do actually look very nice. And last year's one were pretty good with the blue and orange, but this year is quite good as well. So brilliantly done by all involved. And
if you see any volunteers come up and say that they've lost their shirt, they can't find it, see me, because it'll be in my kit bag. I'll tell you now, they're pretty good.
I'm sure you'll be able to wrangle one. But the red paddles here will be for James Groves, blue paddles, Paul Mansell. Now the blue paddles, obviously for the blue bowls, and the speckle bowls coming down now will be for James Groves.
And as we've seen the first couple of games yesterday and also today, the bowlers will take a couple of ends to adjust on this particular rink next to the ditch, but there's a handful short there, but it will adjust over time.
Yep. The maroon and white there of Paul Mansell.
And maroon and white's Beenleigh, which is one of our new clubs hosting this year.
Yep, one of the 14.
You know, I do go on the Beenleigh supporters Facebook page or members Facebook page, and they had a big rally cry to get some volunteers in for the AO, and they've done a fantastic job out there.
Certainly, and that's a 3 to start proceedings. We didn't see a 3 throughout the entirety of this morning's contest between Bob Thwaite and Luke Gleeson. But first end of this second session, a 3 goes to James Groves. So good start for the Western Australian.
And again, the importance of jumping out to a lead, at least a 1-2, but to pick up a 3 on the first end is fantastic, and that will just pump his confidence up.
Yep, 100%. It's been a good start for him. He was on the money pretty quickly in that first end, so he'll be very pleased to get off the mark, especially considering he had a tight loss first up. Bill Ifland, the bloke on the rink next door, looks like he can play a bit. He's not bad. What's his name?
Aaron? The guy in the white shirt you're talking about, Bill?
Aaron Sharif?
Yeah, Omar had a 21-2 win this morning.
Yep. Good start from James Groves here, taking the first end, 3-zip.
We did find in the first game that the bowls running back towards the beach, which is the way they're bowling now, were running it out, but they were having trouble reaching the head coming back towards the clubhouse.
They were. James Groves, no such issue there.
Magnificent weather again.
Oh, this is
How good
splendid.
Is this?
If only Melbourne could have this weather in winter. Because in summer, I don't know if I could do it up here because the humidity gets me. But, yeah, the dry heat in Melbourne is definitely more preferred. But this is in winter. This is absolutely sensational.
And if you're not here this year, go online, book your accommodation now, wait for the tournament to be the draw to come out, and then put your entry in, because it's just it's the festival of a bowls.
Yep.
It really is. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing that you must do it if you play bowls.
100%. You'll be playing this week, Kyle?
Yeah, I've got a game of pairs on Wednesday and a game of fours on Thursday. I thought I'd stay away from Aaron Sheriff in the singles. I'll let him have it this year. That was very much tongue-in-cheek, as you would know.
Having said that, he's lost the first end over there on his rink, and he's currently down as well in the second. But I expect that to change. No disrespect to his opponent, but Aaron Sheriff has just come off winning 2 world titles at the World Bowls Indoor Championships at Warilla.
James Grove here on the back end. Look, possibly 2, possibly could be
Holding
3 there.
3, Mitch Mears, our marker. Of course, Apia proudly sponsoring them.
Paul just needs to cut this countdown, but I think he's a little bit wayward there.
Yep, so this is a danger start for the Queenslander. Looks as though we're going to be at 6-0 after 2 ends.
But with lawn bowls, it only takes one end to turn it around.
Certainly does. So that is a brilliant start. So a lot of support for James Cooper, and come on, Jimmy Groves, and he's started very well. Valerie Hardy watching, Joyce Ebick watching. Good to have your company, Mary as well. Deb Saunders.
The good thing for James and Paul is they've got the ditchside rink, and there's probably, we'll call 100 plus people just sitting up there, and they're probably thinking it's for them, but I think the viewers or the spectators might be there for one Aaron Sheriff.
Star-studded rink here. Got Scotty de Jong and Jake Rinn playing. Clive Williams, one of the para men's pairs finalists from last year, fell to Damien Delgado and Cooper Whitestyles in what was a pulsating final. And Scotty de Jong, his brother Stephen, more commonly known as Blocker, is out on the far side of the rink watching as well. So, and Blocker has a cat that says Blocker on the front. He loves it.
He knows who he is. That's the main thing. James just moved this kitty slightly at his first bowl, and he's just drawn another one here. So danger signs already. 2 to James on this end.
This is exactly the start you want after a close loss in the opening encounter. It starts 6-0. Possibly get a couple more. This one's going to get around.
Not a bad line here.
Let's see. Is he going to find the gap? Paul Mansell.
Needed to hold on. That's a great effort. Unlucky.
He did. Probably cut it down to 1, though. He's got a few people in the way, so we can't quite see the head here.
No, it's amazing.
It's the price you pay when Aaron Sheriff is playing on your green. So what has James Groves got here? Line is good. That's going to crash in, and that'll be a second, I do believe.
He's turned his second bowl out, but he definitely picked up 2 now.
Mitch Mears holding up a third.
Wow.
So pressure for Paul Mansell.
Paul just needs to find his rhythm here, get one in the head. He needs to definitely do something this next couple of ends.
What's he got here? This one looks okay.
Cracker.
And down. Oh, he's holding shot now.
Well done.
So James Groves. Not sure what the option is. Does he go for the 1, or does he try and... It's going to be hard to get rid of that Paul Mansell bowl.
He's got a line here. He might have enough pressure on this. No, I took it with him.
All of his 4 bowls have ended up in pretty much the exact same position there. But the positive is, despite most likely the fact that he's going to lose this end, he's been well and truly on top. And that one's going to miss. So What will Mitch Mears tell us? They're going to survey. One to Paul Mansell.
Yeah, one to Paul there. He needed that. He needed to stop the bleeding. 6-0 after 2 was hurting. One thing he will have to do is, now he's got the jack, he's got the mat, play your length, but put one on at first bowl up here to put pressure back on James.
Aaron Sheriff down 3-0 in his matchup. And that is against Johan that was the first match, sorry. That is against Matthew Hooker from Camden in New South Wales. Jake Rinn and Scotty de Jong playing right in front of us as well. That match is 3-1. I'm not sure whose favour that's in. Figure that out soon.
Looks like an S on the left, I think, and a J on the right. Good start from Paul here, first up, and then James has just come around the back. So Paul's done what he needed to do, is to put one close. Has to follow it up now. Left-hander, of course, here on his forehand. Yeah, great bowl, Paul. 2 shots.
So, have the nerves settled?
And we talk so much how it's a mental game. Just one end, picking up a shot, can change your whole mindset. The confidence is through the roof. He's got his rhythm. He's relaxed. You start playing bowls.
Yeah, it was perilously close to being 10-0 down. All of James's bowls in that last end were all right on top of each other. And if that jack didn't move, it was perilously close. What's he got here, the Western Australian? That bowl, I don't think he's going to get back. It's going to come around the back. 2 currently to Paul Mansell.
Paul may think about just popping one behind the pack here. A little bit more intent on that. Just doesn't want to make any contact with his bowls. It's ended up in a good spot there.
Yep. Jake Rinn and Scotty de Jong, 3 apiece. Jake Rinn just picked up a 2. So what have we got here? He's looking at it here. James Groves, he's close. Where has the jack gone?
Stayed in there. I think it'll still be 2 to Paul.
Possibly. This would be a very welcome side. It is 2. So from 6-0 down, 6-3 the current score after 4 ends. We didn't see a 3 for that entire first match this morning. Saw 2 in the first 2 ends here.
And Paul will just keep doing the same thing. He's got the mat, throw it his length. Just pop one near it, put the pressure back onto James.
Aaron Sheriff down 4-0 here against Matthew Hooker.
It's only early.
Slow start, but this is a brilliant performance so far from Matthew Hooker. Once Aaron Sheriff wins an end, you'd feel as though things might change a bit. So what are we going to see from James Groves as he looks to rectify dropping a couple of ends? Try and get himself back on the score sheet. As we said before, he was very, very, very close to being 10-0 up.
And this is what he did last end here. He just popped a couple on it. That's a great bowl there. Good start. Now, fun fact, Paul Mansell been playing 12 months.
Really?
Basically a 12-month bowler, yeah. So only new to the sport, and he's playing an Australian Open, and he's in the mix.
Absolutely love that. You see players that pick up the sport, love at first roll, and all of a sudden they've just joined in and playing the world's biggest bowls festival. I think it's one of the envies that a lot of other countries have on Australia is that you can just play all year round.
Looks like one to Paul there. Staying on his forehand. Just needs to correct slightly, but it looks like he might be a bit wider than he was hoping for. Grass was good, just the weight. James Grove on the forehand now. Needs to be here. Might be just going through there, Val.
Yeah, gone through the gap. So this end is waiting for someone to jump on the jack. Not sure who at the moment. I haven't seen what Mitch has indicated, but I think he's indicated blue for Paul. And that one leaves it open for James Groves. Let's see what he can do.
A lot of room there to draw a shot here.
Yeah, and I like this line.
Little trail, pick up a couple.
I like this line. Needs it to pull up, needs it to stop, and it will. But will it be enough? That's the question.
Young Mitchell's got red in his hand.
Yep, that's one.
One to James. Out to a 7-3 lead now.
That's exactly what he wanted, just to stem the flow a little bit. So, James Groves, the Western Australian from Joondalup, enjoys the lead, and Jake Wren has pulled ahead of Scotty de Jong, 5-3.
I got in trouble today. Is it de Jong or de Jong?
De Jong.
Scotty. There you go. We'll just call him Scotty. No, it's
been given the confirmation.
Thank you, sir.
De Jong.
De Jong.
Yeah.
Great start there from James Groves. And Val, I think I've said it every time I've come on air, but this weather, it's just magnificent. They've got a little slight sea breeze kicking in now, cooling it down a touch, because being from the southern states, I think 20's hot. But this is a magnificent day. And for all our Aaron Sheriff fans, he's on the board. He's trailing 4-1 now.
He's on the board.
He's picked up the mat and he's thrown pretty much T to T here.
Colin Bray, I hope I've not missed any jacks. Spent too much time cutting my grass yesterday. I thought I'd put the skill to use back on his home lawn this morning. You haven't missed any, Colin. You're okay. But I don't like you admitting that you were late. Yeah, we've had this problem before.
And what's Paul done here? He needs really to get something in there close. This sounds like this could be one of those breakout ends here. James has got 2 on it, looking to play backhand.
Yep.
That's a tidy effort.
Paul Mansell, this is a really pivotal end for him in terms of getting himself back in this contest. Those 2 threes that he conceded in the opening end, this one's not going to affect anything. Just crashes into that back bolt. Can James Groves get another one in? And wrestle a third, possibly.
Another good line here. Just depends on his pace.
Yeah,
He's going to get down.
motoring along, and that's going to go around the back. So 2 currently. What can Paul Mansell do to say about it? Or to do something about it? David Clark saying very consistent bowls from James, and you're exactly right. He's just had them in the area constantly. As Paul Mansell, will he get any result here?
Oh, that's a fall in there might have made it a little bit closer.
May have. Has he affected the count at all? Was definitely 2, and remains at 2, Mitch Mears with the 2 red paddles. So a 9-3 buffer in favour of the West Australian. James Groves looking to get on the board. Fell in his opening match. Very close. Would love to get that shots up.
Yeah, James has started well here. His consistency around the jack is very good, and that's been reflective in the score for sure. He likes coming this way.
He does. This could be... He scores another 3 in the next couple of ends. It might make things difficult for the Queenslander, but that one's going to drop well short. So opportunity now for the Beanley exponent. See where we can go here.
On the forehand, just hoping to get underneath here and hang on.
Oh, he's motoring along.
He's motoring all right.
That has gone way too far. So 1 currently to James, and I dare say he'll get closer and make that correction. That's what he's been able to do.
Now, we talked about... Sorry, mate.
That's all right.
I was going to say we talked about Omar going a couple of down. He's just picked up a 4.
Of course he has.
Yeah, there you go.
He just had to win one end and he was on. There's a good correction. Still room though. It's been a great start to this tournament, Kyle, and the Australian Open, proudly supported by major events, Gold Coast and the Queensland Government through Tourism and Events Queensland. Such a great job helping us put this event together, and there's nowhere you would rather be in June.
Now, here's a question without notice, which I love doing. Favourite part of the week so far? And it doesn't have to be bowls related, but it can't be Richmond related.
Technically, if today is Sunday, so we're only 12 hours into the new week. But no, favourite part of being in Queensland so far probably would have been Richmond's result last night. But no, I reckon yesterday when we got here, Lockie and I ventured over across the road to our bagel joint, Bagel, and had one of those. I've been counting down the days on the little whiteboard I've got in the office back in Melbourne. And also my room upgrade to the level 34 suite.
Penthouse, yes, of course, yeah. No,
Ocean view room.
It's interesting you say that. We'll stick with James here. He's actually attempting here to draw a 4th.
He is. And that is going... Oh. Has it stopped short? That's in.
It may be in the count, but no. Paul,
there's a massive chance here.
He needs to just take a second and focus here. Heading back to backhand? He is indeed, yeah. Needs to lose about 1.5 meters.
Has he got that 1.5 meters?
He's lost 1.5 meters twice. We'll check this count out then. This could be interesting.
This could very well be a 4 here to James Groves, and we could be seeing a 13-3 buffer. It's definitely the end to the Western Australian.
Yeah, definitely 3. In a measure. So while we're doing this, I'll go back to my question without notice.
Yes.
I'm going to say the best part about the last couple of days, apart from the bowls and the bowls clubs, has been the people. I've just found that it's everyone on the Gold Coast, it's a fast-paced, exciting place, but they're just so friendly and so nice, and you can walk along the road, and a jogger will say hello, and a bike. Everyone will just say hello. How you going? How's your day? It just seems like a friendly location to be a part of.
It is certainly a friendly place, and it's a little less friendly without this man here. And hi, everyone, enjoying the coverage. Not surprised the Bagels have had a run, Val. Missing everyone, of course. Very different watching from home, and that, of course, is the one and the only Clive Adams. We miss you here, Clive, as well.
And one thing by the way, four shots then.
4.
Yeah. One thing we should point out to our listeners and viewers is that Clive has taken a role with Bowls WA, substantial role to grow the game and make future-proof the game over there, of course. But we wouldn't be here. We probably would be here, but Clive's been a big part of getting RINKSIDE live to where it is.
He certainly has.
And we appreciate that.
He's been a pioneer of this live streaming.
Pioneer makes him sound old, but doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. You can be a pioneer at any age.
Back in the 1780s.
That's, of course, for how long Clive's been playing bowls.
Thanks for watching, Clive. We appreciate it.
We do miss you around here, Clive.
And we'll get critiques later, I guess.
I'm sure.
Don't let Kyle anywhere near the microphone ever again. Val can't count. We'll get all that.
I can't count. That is true.
Lockie's looking at the wrong rink. That was a big breakout, and then the 4 shots there. 13-3 now to James, and he's popped one straight back on it. Paul just needs to focus. He needs to come back. He needs to get one close, get himself back in the mix.
Yeah, and a bit that 4 there hurts, and 3 of the 5 ends that James Groves has won have been a 3, a 3, and a 4. And that's ultimately where matches are won and lost.
And Jake Rin looks like he's jumped out to a 7-4 lead over Scotty De Jong.
Yep. Clive Williams having a good run as well. I think he's up 11-2 against his opponent, so doing quite well. The 2022 mixed multi-disability pairs finalist.
James on his forehand. He's just looking to settle in here. There's 3 there now.
Kerrin's missing Clive's knowledge of the game, and he certainly has the most extensive knowledge of bowls that I know. And Perth Pennants, Dave Rankin, much less stats. That is true.
Less stats. I was just about to point out that the first 4 ends, we saw a jack that went 7.9. Okay. Sorry about that. We'll leave that one alone. No, you're right. You're right. He's a man that would be hard to replace, but
Clive's stats during the BPL, they're his forte. I think I'm gonna, if he comes to the BPL in November, I'm gonna blacklist that word.
James had a great opportunity then to put a 4th in there. He's just come up short. Big bowl for Paul here.
Huge.
Massive in the context of this match.
Because the line wasn't bad from James, but a 3 here would make things very interesting. Aaron Sheriff, you're right, has gone up 7-4.
Motoring is the word you come up with. It's gone, yeah.
So after, what have we played, 8 ends here. This is going to be a 16-3 buffer in the advantage of James Groves, the Western Australian from Joondalup. He is motoring along.
Any of our Beanley members listening or watching, please go in the comments and give us some advice. We can yell it out to Paul from here, I'm sure.
They're all playing.
Or volunteering out there, by the way, yes. I'm hoping they've got live stream on the big screen out there.
Oh, David Clark, you guys are doing fine. Even turn the volume up a little. Well, that's nice of you.
We had a comment about our volume last time as well, I think.
I think that's just a device error. It's just people watching on different devices, and sometimes the settings change automatically. Jake Rin leading Scotty De Jong 7-5, just on the rink in front of us. This match has been teetering along very nicely.
And James didn't jump on one first up there, but Paul's adrenaline running high. He might have popped it right into the ditch.
Someone asking for Cohen Lipton's results in the first match. That was Ray Marshall. He won 21-2. The emerging Jackaroo. He's had a great year so far. As Cohen.
Of course, Cohen ventured down to Newcastle this year to play Penance for Soldiers Point. Him and Nick Cahill played down there.
They did. Of course, you can catch up with all the scores from session 1 today and yesterday as well. Results.bowlslink.com.au. Click on the 2023 Australian Open tab and find the section that you want. And then also the Bowls Now app available for free from the Google Play Store or the App Store. Aaron Sheriff leading 10-4 now on his rink.
And Paul's popped one down there. It could be good enough for shot, even though it's fairly wide. We'll just wait and see this. That might be shot now to James, but as we can see from the screen, there's a lot of room in there to draw. Paul Mansell on his forehand again. Just needs to stop now. He's up.
Oh, he just went through. Looks a bit like the Southern Cross.
It does. I've got to say, good consistent bowls from both men, but this has probably been one end they don't want to bowl again.
They'll be fast forwarding this live stream when they watch it back, just at this end.
But unless there's a resting toucher.
Yep. And James Groves, well, no doubt about who's got shot now.
The door is still open for Paul. He stays on his forehand. Just needs to take a metre of weight off here. Has he corrected, Val? I think he might have.
There's
Great bowl.
That's brilliant.
Now, does that bring the second into play over here on the left? That's the question. Or I'd actually, the one at the bottom of the screen, that might be the second shot.
So he's on the board again.
Just the one.
So the margin at 16-4. Second time we've had that margin today.
How good is this, Val? You can enter the Australian Open in any discipline, luck of the draw, and you could end up like Paul Mansell and James Groves being on Rinkside live streamed around Australia, around the world.
With your dulcet tones behind the mic, Kyle Langley.
But we've got we've got Aaron Sheriff, Jake Ring, Scotty Dijon, but the draw is this one here.
Exactly
so
right.
These guys, the opportunity to play on these greens and play on live stream is there for every person that enters the Australian Open.
Exactly right. Jake Rin has taken a 10-5 lead over Scotty Dijon.
And I've probably said it 3 or 4 times now, but we say hello to our members at Beenleigh and Joondalup, and hopefully you're live streaming in the club or at home.
Yep.
And cheering home your member.
Sure they would be. Very passionate Bowls fans over there in WA, and saw footage of one of the clubs over there during the, I think Mount Lawley, during the Commonwealth Games when Chrissy and Alan were playing the Commonwealth Games final. And the celebrations, I even think I saw Clive Adams dance after Alan nailed that final bolt.
I had a chat with Clive once. We were talking about pennant season, and we're talking about over in New South Wales, we might go 10 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks. And I'm sure he said pennants in WA is every day except for Christmas Day. They just play pennants every week. It's a massive tournament, and it's a massive club event over there.
I love it. 2 shots currently indicated by Mitch Mears here to James Groves. Those 2 red paddles are up.
I do believe that might be... Actually, no, it's not. It's just a bit wide. I was going to call wrong bias then, but it's not. It's just stayed on the rink. Just come out of the hand wrong there from Paul. So officially it was not a wrong bias. It was just slipped out of the hand.
I think we had one of those last year in the women's singles, and I can't remember who it was, but she said, I can't believe I've done that for the first time at this Australian Open on the live stream rink.
We're all human.
We are. So what has Paul Mansell got? think he snuck it in between. I think that's still one to... He's affected the count.
He's cut it back a couple there for sure. What's he got? Just
one. One and a measure.
Okay.
James Groves can go for the second here. Western Australian Perth Pennants goes 18 rounds plus finals. And James goes through the back. So it's at least one to the West Australian. Jake Rinn leading Scotty De Jong, 5'11". Playing very nicely, the young Queenslander, the Pathways Jackaroo. Very close to a Champion of Champions title in May last year for the 2021 Champion of Champions. It was delayed through COVID.
Now James has one here with a measure.
Will it be two? And he will be in the checkout zone, that's for sure. Just the one.
Just the one. Yeah, 18 weeks in pennants. It's a long time. I think Victoria do similar, though, don't they?
Something similar.
Yeah.
So the bowls, Mitch Pepper, asking what they're using. Aerodynamic for James Groves and Aero Evolve for Paul Mansell. Both of them using size 3s. Kyle?
Yeah, size 3s. I've only ever used the one set of bowls my uncle gave me when I started this game a few years back, and they're size 4s. But I've often thought about going to a lighter bowler. Just an interesting concept that how the smaller or lighter bowls assist some players. We had a 5 heavy out here yesterday.
Yep, we did. And Perth Pennants are Dave Rankin, 18 weeks. Yep, 4 for home and away games and 1 weekend of finals for Perth Metro Pennants. So 4 home and away games and 1 weekend of finals. Yep. So there is a lot of bowls over there in the West. Right here, though, James Groves in the checkout zone with him 1 end of victory.
Yeah, good start from Paul then. He's just come inside James on his first bowl. He needed to take a little bit of ascendancy here. And we can update you on the Aaron Sheriff Hooker game too. Omar's out to 11-4 lead now.
I do believe he's holding 1 or 2.
The cream is rising to the top.
Always does Aaron Sheriff. We saw that in the World Bowls Indoor Championships just a month ago, where he was pushed to the limit by Dan Salmon. Tiebreak in the quarters, and then Martin Puckett in that semi-final. That was an epic contest and another brilliant result from Aaron Sheriff. And then the final against Andrew Kelly. That one was a pulsating contest. Kelly led that 8-3 with 2 ends to go and lost at 10-8 in the opening set.
Just back here on our rink, James and Paul have a little bit of a switch off here. Both players are finding it difficult to actually get anywhere near this jack.
Yep, the clubhouse end.
It's always been a worry this way. Maybe they're looking back at all the hundreds of fans sitting on the balcony on the bank watching. Paul might have snuck in for a second here. Yes, he has.
12-4, Aaron Sheriff's lead. Clive Williams up 14-3.
James Groves has just picked the kitty up into the ditch. Brilliant shot.
Sensational.
We can't see the live action from where we're sitting, but it looks like he's sitting just a foot or so from the ditch and the kitty's straight in behind it.
He's had some sort of game, hasn't he?
He's consistently been very, very good, yes.
What has Paul Mansell replied with here? What has Paul Mansell replied with?
Great
Not
effort.
enough. I thought he was going to get there, but ran out of legs, so this is going to be another one. It is.
It's two. It's actually 2. That was the confusing part, because the bowl we see on the green is one that he left there, one of his first bowls, and then the actual toucher went into the ditch, so it is 2.
So this has been a sensational performance. He goes to a 19-4 buffer. And around the rinks, Clive Williams leading 15-3. Jake Rinn leading Scotty De Jong 13-5.
James straight over his forehand, and if he adds the pressure here first up, this may well be could be our last end. Great opening bowl.
11 ends so far.
Maybe 19-4, but Paul just has to concentrate on one bowl at a time now. Great effort, unlucky.
Australian Open proudly brought to you by APO, who's helping you live the good life and playing bowls. Great partners of ours here at B8.
Well, it looks like he's holding match at the moment, so Paul definitely have to get one in the count here. Staying on his forehand. Wants to lose a little bit of that weight from last bowl, but he's tight. He's under. Not what he was after.
So, what has James got?
Oh, great effort.
Certainly is. That's 3 for him now, which is more than enough. Paul Mansell will need to get the reply. 4 has been the unlucky number for the loser on this rink so far today, with Luke Gleeson falling on that number, 21-4, and at the moment could be the exact same scenario as James Groves is holding game, trying to add another one in there to make it as difficult as he possibly can for Paul Mansell to try and secure anything.
Look like he may have gone for a bit of cover there just in case, but I haven't seen Paul play with any weight. I'd like to see him go to his backhand here, just try and sit or get an edge off that, but he's staying forehand.
This could be it. Paul Mansell to keep himself in the contest.
With some intent as well.
This is going to drop underneath. And we're shaking hands. Yes.
Well, that's all she wrote.
That's it. Paul Mansell concedes, and there it is. James Groves opens his account at the 2023 Australian Open. That is a brilliant win. Wins that one 21-4. And that's been the scoreline in both of our opening 2 contests this morning. This one a lot shorter than the first match, and a lot of multiples scored in this contest, but brilliantly done by the Western Australian, who notches up his opening win. Kyle Langley, thank you very much for your efforts in this session. We'll see you again in about 2 hours' time.
A little bit of lunch. You might have a soft drink, and then we're back and enjoy this weather for an hour or so.
We certainly will. So session 3 is due to start at 2:30 p.m. here at the Australian Open. But make sure you like the Bowls Australia Facebook page, and you'll be notified when we go live, because it could change. Who knows, depending on all these matches, and if they go quick or not, we don't know. That may change. But yeah, like us, turn your notifications on, and we'll be up a bit later. This has been the Australian Open 2023, presented by APIA, who are proud to support the event, the volunteers and the officials, and also with thanks to Australia's Gold Coast and Tourism and Events Queensland. We could not do it without you. Plenty more still to come here on day 2 of the Australian Open. We'll catch you very soon.